Clear the throat.
Yep. Welcome back to the You Never Know podcast, where you never know who we're going to have on or what we're going to talk about. It's been a little while since we've had an episode, but here we are. We're back. We got a pretty exciting guest. We got a young buck here out of Southern California who has dabbled in some childhood acting almost his whole life. So, Tate Berney, how we doing?
Good to be here. Excited.
Yeah, man. We were excited to have you. It was super funny because we've never met him or anything
At all.
But one of Ryland's roommates is one of the younger guys who's in the fraternity we were in, and he was just bringing up that one of the pledges was a child actor. We're like, oh,
Money.
give us his number. Like, we got to hit him up, try to get him on.
I think I told him he had to hit me up within like 30 minutes or some shit.
Yeah, that's what it was. Cause Wolder hit me up and he was like, "Yo, Ryland wants to do the podcast. You got to respond to him by 10:30. If so, you get a free T-shirt." And I was like,
I forgot to bring a shirt. Damn.
I was like, all right.
So
Dang. So did it feel like a pledge task almost?
Yeah, it was like a little bit of a pledge task, but
you want to bring that mic a little closer to you?
yeah, it was like a little bit of a pledge task. But I mean, I kind of knew like it's a podcast. Like it can't be that bad.
Right.
So
Yeah. Right on.
Thanks for coming.
yeah.
Yeah, so before we get into kind of your whole childhood acting, all that crazy stuff you did, why don't you just give us kind of like a basic introduction, just kind of who you are, where you grew up, stuff like that.
All right, yeah. So I'm Tate Berney. I grew up in Santa Clarita, California. It's like 25, 30 minutes from Hollywood, about like 45 minutes from Ventura Beach. So it's a pretty nice location. Went to elementary school that was like, I don't even know, like a minute from my house. I got to walk to elementary school every day.
Fire.
When, I guess, I mean, we'll just get right into it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
You guys cool about cussing or what?
Oh,
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So, kind of was so I have three older brothers. Oldest brother's 28. His name's Christian. Second oldest brother is Chase. He's 25. Third oldest brother is Tanner. He's 22. So when I was a baby, I was about 16 months old. My oldest brother was, I believe, 8, and he wanted to become like a model. He wanted to model or something. So my dad was working. My mom was at home taking care of four boys. So they got the modeling agency thing set up. So she ended up taking him and all three of us or all four of us to the modeling agency. He did his little interview with them, and we were all in there. Obviously, I'm in my mom's arms as a baby. And the casting agency, LA Models, they said, I want all your kids. Like, they're beautiful. Let's do it. And my mom thought about it, because she's told us this before. She thought about it, and she thought about it hard, and she was like, well, I mean, fuck it. They all got to go to college, so, like, let's try and get them some money in the bank, right? So kind of started that way, and so at the age of, like, 16 months old, I booked my first ever thing, which was on Baby Style, so it's, like, a clothing line for babies, and I was always working with the same kids doing that. That was fun.
I have like remember any of that?
I have like vivid memories from there. I remember we'd go to like this little like studio thing, and you'd go up to the second floor, and the classic shot was like they all lined us up on like this bench and like these like baby onesies and shit and take the pictures. But it was just cool because it was always the same kids. And then as I got older, I actually started doing work with like my brothers. Like I did like Ralph Lauren print work. I did Nike print work for like Nike footwear.
So you're a foot model.
Yeah, I was a foot model. Hell yeah. So did that. Trying to think what else. Like American Eagle. I think I said Ralph Lauren already, but
just like all those brands that
just
are in LA.
all those brands. Yeah.
So they probably all go through like one agency, I assume, right?
There's a bunch of modeling agencies like out in Hollywood, but like there's like a couple main ones like Zuri, LA Models, Coast to Coast.
I've heard of Coast to Coast.
Yeah, so there's like the main, however many you want to call it. But that was cool because I got to do shoots with like my brother, and me and him when we were both younger, we actually looked a lot similar. So like I have short hair now, but I used to have long blonde hair that was like past
like Trevor Lawrence, like long
surfer
hair.
flow.
Not Trevor Lawrence long blonde hair, but I never had a neck. Like you can never see my
Okay.
neck. It like went all the way past the neck, and it was like bright blonde, like blonde. And for some reason, I guess in the early 2000s. That was the look, man.
That was the look.
That was the look, was that long blonde hair. I mean, we were working all the time, just every other print job, whatever.
Damn.
And then
What is a print job, by the way?
so like photo shoots. So like when you see, so like candid photos almost, or like when you walk into like when you walk into Target and like you see like photos of like the people wearing the clothes on like the big poster.
Yeah, like doing
So-
like a jump or something
Yeah,
like that.
so it's something like that. Like
Okay.
I was in Target actually for like literally like 4 years. They forgot to take out my picture, and my mom was pissed because like if it's in there, like you should be getting money.
Yeah.
And so like I wasn't getting paid, and it was in the Target that I lived to, like 5 minutes from my house back in home. And so finally my mom went there, and she's like, "This is absurd, like whatever."
Hell
and,
yeah.
They ended up taking it down, and then my mom goes, "Well, can we get it?" And like so every time I've been in a store, I have these giant cardboard cutouts of me in my garage, like from doing it. Like we did this thing for Gap on like a trampoline thing. It was a bunch of like candid photos, but jumping in the air on a trampoline, and I have like drumsticks. And I did it with a photographer named Remy. I think his last name is Remy Solis, I think, if I remember that correctly. But I did a couple things with him. He's super chill. He's probably one of the dopest photographers I've ever worked with. Just like he gets it. He got kids. Like he understood it.
Made it easy.
Yeah, it just made it easy. Like what kind of music? That's another cool thing with like print jobs. They ask you like, because you're in a studio, so there's no sound. They're just like, what kind of music you like to listen to. And dude, I don't know. I was probably like,
As a kid though, like they have to offer you like Cheerios or anything to like get you to, like look at the camera or anything like that. Like,
no. But like
give you candy?
that is a plus though. Like being on set or whatever. Like
Yeah.
craft service is like, dude, they got everything you want.
I feel like
man.
it's hit or miss though, because I feel like you hear the stories too of, you know, it's the complete opposite. Like, oh, they treated me so shitty. Like, you know, it's just some back lot in some sketchy area of LA.
I feel like that depends with the projects though, because like obviously, so like projects can be like there's like ultra low budget.
Yeah, if you're working with
and then, like,
Nike and
yeah,
Target
like-
and Gap, you're probably okay.
Yeah, it goes on. I will say the coolest crafty experience I ever had. I was probably maybe like 5 or 6, and maybe a little younger than that. And it was for I forgot if it was a TV show or a movie, but it was called Samantha Who, and it was filmed at I think Warner Bros. Studios, if I'm not mistaken. And I had like normally like when you go and you work in a studio, like they might put you in like a Star Wagon trailer or something like that. So
Yeah.
instead of being put in a Star Wagon trailer, they had like actual room condos on the lot.
Oh, what?
So like me and my mom got like a room condo that was
Oh,
on like a
that's
second
sick.
floor. And they said, "Oh yeah, also like if you want any crafty or anything, just go down the stairs." And then so like there's like a fifth wheel trailer, and she goes, "It's got everything like you want in it." And I'm like, all right. So me and my mom end up going down into the fifth wheel trailer. And bro, imagine opening a door to like a fifth wheel trailer, and then like all the way on the left side is just like, you know, when you walk in a grocery store and it's those giant fridge things with
Yeah.
drinks.
Yeah.
Just a giant, just fridges with just drinks, literally Powerades, Gatorades, Dr. Peppers, any type of soda, beer, literally everything. Like
Yeah.
they had everything for everybody. And then on the right side was all the candy, all the fruit, all the bagels, all the donuts.
Damn.
They
Yeah.
hook you up. So like
so when you're that age, is
Yeah,
that
when
like
you're
your
6,
favorite
it's-
part
Oh,
of
dude,
it? Yeah.
that's like one of the best parts for sure. I mean, because also like when you're that age, like, I mean, like, you know you're working, but also like you got to try and have fun too. Like
Yeah.
it's hard to keep like a 4-year-old like maintained.
Yeah, how do you work
Right.
a 4-year-old?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of it definitely. I mean, I was like 4 or 5 years old, like learning lines too, like trying to memorize lines. I mean, now if I were to do it, like it's kind of like muscle memory, but like trying to memorize like paragraphs of like lines and then like going into work the
As a
next day.
4-year-old, you're not even in
Right.
kindergarten yet.
Yeah, and like going into work the next day and like trying to like recite it or do however you want to
Yeah.
do. Like I don't know. So then at the age of 5, I believe was like one of the first biggest things that I ever did. So I booked All My Children, which was a soap opera. I think the main actress was Susan Lucci, and then I played AJ Chandler, which is the son of J.R. Chandler, who was played by Jacob Young. He's a baller. He lives in Utah now. Still stay in contact with him. He was like my fake father. So
Sick.
yeah, it was super cool. I was on that show for a while. That show was a lot of fun. Really built a family there. Like actually like home away from home. My big thing that me and my mom always talked about while I was acting was like I didn't want to sign like any type of contracts or anything that like made me come out of public school. Like I still wanted that like regular like kid lifestyle. Like I wanted to be able to come home and like hang out with my friends, and like I didn't want to just and like go play sports. I didn't want to just like every day wake up, go do auditions, come back, and that's all my life. Like I don't know.
Damn, you were negotiating shit at like 6 years old.
Well, I guess like my mom was like she was there to
Sure.
help me, and obviously my manager and agent as well.
I would say, so like, was your mom on set for like shooting this, or was like, oh, it's like
yeah.
it's like more of a, have a good day at like shooting, sweetie, and like,
It's like
she picks-
daycare.
picks you
No,
at 5.
she's no. My mom was always there. She's shout out to her, man, best woman in the world. But she was always there every single time I was on set,
That's sick.
which helped a lot. I mean, she's one of the main reasons. Like, that's who I practice lines with. Like, I didn't practice lines with myself. Like, I practiced with her. Like, she taught me how to do them. And then when I was on All My Children, there was an acting coach on that show. So like, we started like that's when like I started kind of getting into that next step of like acting and finding different ranges. And the soap opera was like, it was a very dramatic show. I mean, I remember this was like one of the first times where I was like, oh shit, like I feel like I'm okay at this. Like I'm like, because one of the scenes was throughout the show, my my father is he's dying of cancer. So he has cancer, and we have a scene where he basically like says he's leaving because of the cancer, and like it's like the last time that we were ever on set together. So like we had like a hug, and that was the first time where like when you like if you're on like a movie or TV show or something, like sometimes they'll give you like fake tears. They'll put things in your eyes. Like,
I was gonna ask, as a kid, like, how are you taught to fake cry?
So yeah, so like they do things sometimes where like they give you like these eye drops that they put in your eyes that like make your eyes water, or like, I mean, you think about something that's like,
Is that what they tell you? Is that kind of they coach you?
yeah, like think about something that's maybe detrimental to you, or like
Losing like a parent or something.
yeah, or
like
something that
or-
you've been through, or something like that.
Damn.
And so that's kind of what my mom told me and the acting coach too. And so we kind of just rolled the cameras, and I remember, dude, me and him just like broke down, like literally like, I've never like broken down. Like I was actually like crying, and like I remember after that, the first AD was like, wow, like really good job. Like it really felt like we were leaving.
You sold it there.
It really, yeah, like it really felt like that was it. Like that was the last time
Damn.
that we were ever gonna see each other. So like that was like sad, but like it was also like cool to see how like
Yeah.
I can range. at,
Yeah,
like, that
absolutely. I was
old.
gonna ask though, like, as a child actor, when you're that young, when you're having to like force these emotions, does that kind of have like effects on you, like when the cameras are off, when you're that little?
I don't know if it really affected me that much. I don't know. My mom was really, really good about like making sure that like this wasn't the only thing that I was doing. So I think like me like playing the city league sports, like the flag football and the basketball and the baseball, like doing that, I think kept me more and especially being in public school. Like being able to go to school and like see my friends. But like I'd be at elementary school, and my second grade teacher, man, she fucking hated me. She hated me because I was always leaving school for work. I was always getting called out to go work, and she created this fucking binder for me that like gave me like a schedule of what work to do, what not to do.
Like an independent study type shit.
Kind of, because like when you're a kid, I believe, until you graduate high school, actually, I believe, or unless you get the CHESP, which is like completing your GED requirements through high school, you have to have 3 hours of schooling while you're on set. So no matter what, and also like when you're a kid, you can only work like so many hours a day. Like I haven't worked in a while, but I don't remember if it's like it's somewhere between like 9 and 13 hours, I think, a day that you can work. But
It was like a long time for.
but three of those hours have to be schooling. So then you minus that.
Okay.
So 3 of those hours you're in with the set teacher actually doing schoolwork, and then normally that's like one of the first things they make you do. So like you'll show up on set, maybe you'll get in hair and makeup, maybe you'll get a bite to breakfast, and then they send you to school right away. You maybe do
Just
school.
get it out of the way.
Yeah, so you maybe do the schooling for like an hour 30, 2 hours, right? Then you start go rehearsing, go film your scene. Okay, go back to an hour of school. You finish your school. And then like for the rest of the day, you just shoot until the coverage is what you guys needed.
So because of that, where you're kind of balancing like going to a public school and then getting called out all the time to go work, were like the producers and directors, were they pushing for you to go to more of like a private school that's more designed for child actors, or were they cool with you?
No, they were cool. They were cool with me going to public school. Cause also, I mean, so I was just a recurring role. So I was like, and like with soap operas also too. Like soap operas are also like I think daytime television too. It's all filmed a lot differently than like a regular like movie. Like if you were to film like a movie, a lot of it is you use one camera. So you're using one camera to get this angle, but then I'm going to go behind you and we're going to film the same exact scene and I'm going to get that angle. And we're going to get the same exact scene from this angle, this angle. So you really shoot one scene in a movie like 30 times.
It's like pretty repetitive.
Yeah, you film it like 30 times until every angle is covered. Wow, when you're doing like daytime television or soap operas, there are 7 different cameras.
Like a set, right?
Yeah, there's like 7 different cameras that are on wheels that are like moving around. So every angle is already covered. So it only takes 2 or 3 tries to get one scene done.
Yeah.
And
That's how they bang out so many episodes.
yeah, so we would do like I mean, because for example, like I'm a little kid, so like there might be one day where I literally got called out of school, did the 30-minute drive to Glendale. The studio's in Glendale. Did the 30-minute drive to Glendale. The scene was like at the diner or some shit, and all I had to do was like eat ice cream and say, I want more ice cream. And then like that was it. And that was it for that episode. And then later in the day we filmed another episode and I just had like another scene. So like I was always just like I could have been in the show for like 3 episodes that week and then maybe I wasn't in it next week, but then I would have been in it next week for like 4 more episodes. So it just ranged.
Yeah. Especially like going to a public school, did kids treat you like different than other kids? They're like, oh, that's
Did
the
they
kid
know?
who's an
Did they know
actor.
what was going on? Like, did they know?
Yeah,
why
my
you were getting called out?
my friends knew what was going on. My friends were super supportive of it. They were super like, a lot of my friends thought it was cool. Like they all thought it was sick. I never had anybody really make fun of me for it or anything.
Yeah.
And also I feel like if someone were to make fun of you for that, they're just jealous.
Yeah.
I mean, like
100%.
it's just like depends on how you look at it. Like it's also like, I don't know, it's a job. For some people, like it's just work. Like it's another day. I've realized that as I've got older, you know, like sometimes being on set, like you might be like starstruck working with somebody or something like that. But as you get older, like everyone's here for a reason. You're here to get paid. Like it's just another day of work.
Yeah. Were there any of the other kids though who were like starstruck by you? Were they like, oh, that's the kid. He like that kid's an actor.
You know, I wouldn't really say that the kids were starstruck. More like principals and like shit like that.
Really?
Yeah, like I was in like junior high and like one of my principals came up to me and she was like, I saw you on the TV last night. Like, I didn't know you did that. And I was like, yeah. I was
That's
like,
me.
I was like, yeah, that's me. I was like, I was like, what did you watch? Like because at the time during then, that's when, well, I'm kind of getting ahead of here, but that's when Sons of Anarchy came out. So I was like, hopefully she didn't watch that episode because that would have been.
Oh, that would have been.
Yes, that would have been like a crazy conversation. So
yeah.
I'm
Hey,
glad.
you okay?
Yeah.
School may have gone into lockdown or something if you showed up.
Something would have happened for sure. Definitely.
Well, yeah, let's get into that though. So you were doing like the soap, you were doing like kind of all these commercials. Then as you get a little bit older, you start to get more of these bigger roles. Which the first one was it Sons of Anarchy?
I believe Sons of Anarchy came first. Yeah. So that whole process was so sick. So somehow there's a breakdown that came out for it. Tried to submit for the breakdown. I don't think I ended up getting it. Like I don't think I ended up getting like a call, like a submission for it or anything. And so one of my mom's best friends from high school is the transportation coordinator was the transportation coordinator for Sons of Anarchy. So my mom called him and she goes, hey, like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, well, we're at the set right now, whatever. talking, and then my mom goes, yeah, like there's this role like for your show, and like I feel like Tate would be great for it. Like, do you think like maybe you could just like take in a picture of his headshot and resume and just like slide it on the desk? Like, you don't have to if you don't want to, but like maybe just try. And he knew that I was like an actor and like whatever, so he's like, no, yeah, like fuck it, let's do it. So he ended up sliding the resume and the photo.
Was it one of the big posters he slid? Or?
No, just like so like when you go on like auditions normally, you have like just like a regular like 10 by 12 or 10 by 11 piece of paper, and so it's a headshot, so it's a picture of you, and then on the backside is your resume, so it says everything that you've done, like what you've been in, and then like if you've been in stuff like that's a credit, so like however many credits you have, and then some people put on there like their special talents or like what you.
Do you have an IMDb?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like what you've done or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so ended up, they looked at my resume and headshot and ended up getting a call. So I go into the audition, and I remember it like it was yesterday, man. And they sat me in a chair kind of like that one, and he goes, all right, just look in the journal and write, but look like distraught and like mad, confused, crazy, like all this stuff. And that's what the director said, Paris. And there's a couple other people in the room, and I remember doing it, and I was in the room for like 20 minutes, like just in the room forever. And normally when you're in the room forever, that's like could be a good sign, but like it could also be like a bad sign.
Yeah.
And ended up getting called back for a callback. Go to the callback. There's like more people in there. It's kind of like a producer session almost. Kind of the same thing. Just again, writing, looking at the paper, seeing that emotion in your face. Ended up finding out that I booked it. So I book it, show up on set. Throughout the whole episode, when it's fully aired, everybody thought that I was supposed to be young Jax because I have blonde hair. He's got blonde hair. He writes. I write. So everybody was kind of thinking like this was like a flashback from like when Jax is younger. And turns out it was not. It was a deeper, darker story than that. And I was actually I played in the show, Dave Navarro's in the show. I forgot what his character's name was, but he has a girlfriend, and I play like their kid or his girlfriend's kid. Ended up throughout the show, the word is that like in the next episode, I end up taking a gun from Navarro. I end up going to school, pull out my book, roll up my sleeves. You end up seeing that I have some cut marks on my arms. I'm opening through the book. You see me write something. I whisper something, but you don't see what I whisper. But I mouth something.
Like just to yourself? Kind
of to myself, yeah. The camera's kind of like off to like a side angle, and you kind of just is like a profile of me like looking off into the distance and mouthing. Or not mouthing, but just like saying something under my breath. Then I go into the backpack, grab the gun, look at the gun, and then proceed to walk, and then it's game over from there. I mean, you could probably pull up if you've ever seen the clip. It's like I think it's on YouTube. I don't know.
We'll pull it up.
Yeah,
right, but that's crazy. So like as a kid, like obviously like Sons of Anarchy, your mom reached out, right? She was kind of like he'd be a good fit. But all the other stuff you did, was it people reaching out to you? Was it your mom? Was it kind of a mix of both?
No, it was a lot of like people. So like normally, there's like this thing like so breakdowns get sent out to managers and agents, and if they have a client that fits that role, then they'll submit, and then you'll get an email saying, okay, you are confirmed for an audition. Call time 3:30 at this address. Show up, and then you go do the audition, and then from there, like you'll find out in the next couple days or something if you get a call back. And then normally, so it's like audition, call back, producer session. Then maybe like you'll get pinned for the role, and if it's something big, then you go to like the studio, do a screen test with like the other actors. They see which actors mesh well, and then that's how they'll figure out who gets a.
Have you got a call back for a role that like you really wanted, and then you didn't end up getting it?
That
you remember?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've been on there's been so many roles that I've never got. I mean, I've probably been on probably over 700, 800 auditions
Holy
in my
shit.
life.
How old are
Probably.
you? 20? 19?
20, yeah, 19. I'm gonna be
Damn.
20 in like the next month. And
800 auditions?
probably something like that. Honestly, like literally, we would do like 10 a week.
Do they
like,
tell
all
you
the
what you're
time.
auditioning for at all?
Yeah.
Like,
You
do
know,
you know?
what it is.
So like what has been the biggest thing you think you've auditioned
Well, like
for?
so sometimes when you do audition for things like that, for something that's big, they'll
Like NDA it?
or they'll call it like dub C, or like they'll like you ever. I mean, so you're from SoCal. Like, you ever been like driving around in SoCal and like you see like maybe on like a street pole or something, there's these yellow signs that say like dirt or like World War II or like
Yeah.
yeah. So like that is like a filming location, and that's like the code name for the project. That's like not the actual name. So they
Oh.
kind of do stuff like that. So some of the bigger stuff is like kind of kept under the works.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for like the Sons of Anarchy, that was just one episode, right?
I just did one episode, yeah, because I end up getting shot in the head. You find out in the next episode, they're like, what happened to the kid? And then a security guard, I guess, shot me in the head. But
Oh, wow.
that's just what they say. So, and we didn't have to film that. So,
Yeah.
Damn, that would be intense.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because you were how old?
Probably, I want to say like 12 or 13.
Yeah, I was gonna say that show gets pretty dark, but that would be
Yeah.
that'd be really
12 or
dark.
13, were you playing a 12 or 13-year-old or were you playing like someone older?
No, I'm pretty sure I was paying a 12 or 13-year-old because I believe if I remember, I think it was we filmed it at
Like middle school?
a junior high school. Yeah, middle
Okay.
school.
Do you know how many like other kids you beat out for that role,
Um,
or like on average how many?
I don't know, honestly. I mean, I'm sure a handful of kids auditioned for it, and I'm sure a handful of kids got callbacks for it.
Uh-huh.
But they don't really give you the specifics of like
Yeah.
who you beat out or how you beat them
So
out.
it's not like where you kind of see on like TV when they're like pretending to be like someone auditioning, where it's like a big waiting room with all these people and they call you in one by one.
Oh, I mean, no, yeah. So there is the waiting room with all those people, but like you never know. Like, I mean, like I guess you find out who booked it when it airs, and then if you remember that guy's face in the waiting room, you're like, oh shit, he's the guy. That's the guy that
Yeah.
that's the guy that booked it.
I just imagine like you showing up to a waiting room with a bunch of people that look identical to you, just like all sitting in one room, you know?
No, dude, one of the most craziest things that ever happened, me and my brother went on a print audition. Print auditions are pretty chill. You go to just like a building or something, and they take a front-facing picture of you, profile, funny picture, sad picture, just stuff like that. And normally when you do a print audition, they have a thing of what they want their person to look like. So like they have like an image of somebody already
Right.
that like they're trying to go for. So we and my brother end up going on the audition. We do it. After it's over, the photographer says, "Hey, can you guys come here? I want to show you guys something."
Like on the low, kind of.
Yeah. So the picture for that they were going for, like the person they were going for, was my brother's picture when he worked for this company last year.
Oh wow.
So he's the exact same person, right, for this role. Doesn't get it. Doesn't book it. He's the symbol of what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Doesn't book it. It's just like,
Do you know who did get it?
I don't know who got it, but like that's the business, bro. Like it's
Yeah.
just like
That's
so
crazy.
hit or miss.
Yeah,
like,
because
you
I'm
never know.
I'm sure like they have like this idea of who they want, but then someone else may walk in and they're like, oh, forget that fucker, like
Yeah.
that.
Dude, or
Let's change it up.
they'll be like, okay, we really need a guy who can ride a bike for real, like who can really ride a bike. So then you get like these 5 actors who come in and really know how to ride a bike, and then
Like
they
a
end up,
bicycle?
yeah, like a bicycle or something, and then they end up going up with the guy who's never ridden a bike in his life. It's like, what the fuck? Man?
Yeah.
It's just
Dang.
weird.
Does it get pretty frustrating as a kid, or it's like, oh, on to the next? Like, you know, like if you didn't get something?
Were your parents more passionate about it than you were? Or?
No, I was always more passionate. My mom,
Really?
my mom never wanted to be more passionate than me. Because it wasn't for her; it was for me. Like nothing.
Yeah.
She like
She wasn't like projecting like her own wishes, like
no, like
Yeah.
if she, and that was one thing that I loved about her too, is like she was like every single time, like if anything happened, she would be like, "Do you want to stop right now? Like we don't have to do it anymore. Like we don't you don't have to do it. Like
That's
I'm
cool.
not making you do that." And I also think like that's awesome. I don't even think she ever had like the idea of like forcing me into doing it. Like I
Yeah.
think since I did it as a baby and then I kind of just grew into it, like the auditioning process can suck sometimes, but there's nothing like being on set. Being on set is just like every time I was on set, I just loved it. Like that's why I kept acting, because I was like, fuck, auditioning sucks, but once I get on set, it's like so much fun. It's just a different vibe.
Yeah, for sure. Are those waiting rooms, are they ever kind of intense where everyone's kind of eyeing each other down and like you can just feel the competitiveness in there?
Yeah, I mean, like, if you kind of look at each other and it gets quiet, and then everybody's kind of got their script and they're just rereading their lines before they go in and just try to practice, get into character.
So Sons of Anarchy was a show, right? Like that's a TV show?
Yeah, so that was a TV show. That ended, I'm pretty sure, like a couple years ago, and then they just started a spin-off from that show.
They're going to bring you back?
No. They just started a spin-off from that show called The Mayans, which is like their the other motorcycle gang that they would fight against or something. Okay. So it follows them.
Have you done any like movies or cinema at all?
So yeah, done I guess so. I was in a couple movies. I'd say the biggest movie that I was in was Insidious Chapter 3. I was also in Courtney Cox's first ever feature film that she directed called Just Before I Go. I play the younger version of the actor is Sean William Scott. I don't know if you guys know who that is.
Yeah, from American Pie.
Stifler. Yeah, so everybody knows him as Stifler. But so he plays a character in this movie, and I play the younger version of him. And basically, he was just a shithead when he was younger, and like ended up like one of the scenes was I'm in school, the teacher like calls me stupid, and like she just like makes fun of me and shit. So fast forward, I end up going into the bathroom, and I'm sitting on like the toilet drawing on the stall door, and they never told me that I was gonna do this, and my mom was low-key pissed because the image that was already drawn on there, obviously they had someone professional draw it. It was a very, very vivid image of of the teacher sucking off the principal. And I mean like vivid, like for like a younger kid. I mean, I was probably like, I don't even know, but still at that age, like, well, I mean,
right.
Yeah, I got older brothers, so it's all right. But, yeah, so like I remember my mom was like, what the fuck? Like, whatever. We ended up rolling with the punches. It's fine. Ended up doing that. But that was on, I know it used to be on HBO Max. I'm sure it's somewhere else. But that was cool. And then, so Insidious Chapter 3 was the biggest thing I ever did. And I can talk about that from start to finish. So I remember my mom said, yo, you just got an audition for Insidious. Like, do you want to do it? And I'm like, I loved horror movies. Like, horror movies are my favorite.
How old were you at this point?
So I want to say I like 13.
Because like movies can take like a year to film and edit, and then before they even come out.
Yeah, so
right?
it came out in let me see, but I think it came out in 2015, if I'm not mistaken.
About a year and a half.
So we probably filmed it in 2014. Yeah, so it came out in 2015. So we probably filmed it in 2014 or end of 2013, 2014. And I remember the audition process for that was so sick, dude. Go to the audition. It's at Blumhouse. So like Blumhouse is the production company that does all of like the mainstream horror movies. So they do Insidious, they do Conjuring, they do
all the top dogs.
So Jason Blum, he's the owner of Blumhouse. He does all that shit. God, those guys, they make some gnarly movies. I'll tell you that. They're just crazy.
Is he kind of a weird guy? I feel like you have to be a weird guy to like that to be your niche.
I wouldn't say Blum is a weird guy, but I would say that like, I don't know. I'll get into it. Let me explain. Yeah. So I do the first audition. It's just the casting director and someone reading the lines with me, and they're like, "Oh, that's great. Like that's awesome. Cool." Didn't really think too much of it. Like when I came out of the room, I remember my mom was like, do you think you did good? Like, do you think you did bad? And I was like, I feel like I did all right. Like I think I did good. So fast forward to a week later, I got a call back, and it's at the same place. Me and my mom walk in. We sit down, and I'm sitting down in the chair, and this guy just comes across in the hallway and just like hits like some random dude I've never met, and like hits me on my knee and like pretends to like start like play fighting with me. So like I'm like, fuck it, like I'll play fight with him back. So like we start play fighting back and forth. he ends up leaving, and then me and my mom are like, what the fuck? Like what just happened, right? Like what was that? Like, huh? And so I get called in the room and by a girl, and I go in the room, and come to find out he's in the room. So I knew by then he was somebody of importance.
Right.
Didn't know who it was. Come to find out, I find out that it's Lee Winnall. So he's the guy who wrote Insidious Chapter 3, and he directed it. So he was the director.
Yeah.
And I was in the callback room, audition room for another, like that was like another one that was like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And we were doing the scene that's actually in the movie where I'm trying to feed my sister some soup because she's like sick or getting attacked by the demon or whatever at this time. Something's up with her, like we just know. And she like doesn't want to eat it, and then he like maybe do it a different way, and ended up, he's like, oh, we love it, like whatever. Ended up walking out of the callback room like super confident, like super pumped about it. And obviously like going on auditions and stuff, like you audition with like other people and you see kind of the same people at auditions. And this other kid that I used to audition with a lot, his name is Van. He was also at the callback. So from what I've heard, apparently he got pinned for the role and I got pinned for the role. And I ended up winning the role. And I remember my mom, I was at swim practice. I was doing like community swim. And I remember my mom came to swim practice and was like, get out of the pool right now. And I was like, all right, whatever. Got out of the pool. She's like, you're pinned for Insidious. Like, you're pinned. And I remember like jumping up in the air, like shouting for joy. Like, I was so stoked.
Your mind was like, this is it.
Oh, dude, I was like so stoked, just so psyched. And then, so when you're pinned, like there's obviously a couple guys that are pinned for the same role, and then they'll do their final choices. And I just got lucky enough and I booked it. And I remember like a week later, my mom was like, you booked it. And I was like, oh, shit, like, let's go. Like, just so stoked. And I remember first day of shooting was at Delfino Studios in Sylmar, and it was a scene where we were just in the apartment, and I'm laying in the bed. It's actually the opening scene of the movie, and I'm laying in the bed, like passed out, and my sister breaks open the door to try and wake me up for school, and I like yell at her or something. But before that happened, the prop master of the show, so like a prop is like anything on a TV show or movie. Like this could be considered a prop, or this water bottle or that water, or your computer.
Yeah.
And so in my bed there was like a bag of chips that was like torn open all over the place. And he goes, yo, we're gonna put a chip in your, like in between my big toe and my other toe. And he's like, we're gonna see like if anybody notices. Like we're just gonna do it.
Yeah.
For fucking
Like
Yeah,
an
like
Easter egg.
yeah, kind of like an Easter egg, like a little continuity thing or whatever. And so we did it. And I remember when the movie came out, I was the only one. Me and him were the only ones that saw it at the cast and crew screening. And I was like, "Did you see it?" He's like,
Yeah.
I saw it. And like,
It made it.
It made it. Yeah, it fucking made it. So that shit was dope. Anyway, so going in, so I find out that I booked it. I'm on set. I realized that the guy who wrote and directed mine, Lee, he also acts in the movie too. So he plays Specs, which is one of the ghost hunters. He plays the ghost hunters with glasses. He's also, if you've ever seen the movie Saws, like Saw, so he created the Saw movies. He's a co-creator of Saw with James Wan. Those two guys created it. And if you know, I'm pretty sure it's Saw 2. It's the scene where two of the guys are like in like the floor of the bathroom. And like one of them has like his leg like sawed off and they're like chained to the wall. If you like kind of remember that. I just know that he was the guy who was the one with his leg sawed off. So he's like always kind of starred in the stuff that he's wrote.
Yeah.
And so on one of the days of shooting, Lee was there, and for some reason James Wan was there as well. And I believe James Wan wrote the first, I'm pretty sure he directed actually Insidious 1 and 2. And so he was there just watching us filming 3. And I remember I had like 15 minutes to talk to him, and I was just like talking to him and picking his brain. And then I remember Lee came over, and they were both there, and I kind of just asked him the question. I was just kind of like, guys, I was like, so like doing this shit, I was like, do you guys like how do you write that shit? Like, I was like, what is going like what's going on up in your head? You know, like you don't just like come up with, like, how do you know what I mean? Like, how do you come up with this shit? And they were just like, they're just super creative guys. I mean, like James Wan does like the Fast and Furious movies now. I mean, like, so he's like kind of moved on to like action adventure and stuff. But I know he just did that other horror movie that came out I think 2 years ago called Malignant or something. That was pretty good. That was kind of scary. But then
Are horror movies to film, are they as scary to film as they are to watch?
no, not scary at all to film. Actually, just like super fun.
I'd say it's probably more funny than anything.
Yeah, I mean, like I remember when the demon first got like his full like makeup done, like when he was fully in like all the special effects makeup and shit. He did look kind of weird. He did look creepy. It did look really weird. But like when the lights are on, it's not scary or anything. It's like just like regular.
It's like I saw the Stranger Things blooper the other day, and it's like Vecna's eating like a Subway sandwich.
Oh,
it's like, yeah, it's not scary at
yeah,
all. You know?
Yeah, so yeah, it's like shit like that. And it's just like super fun filming, and like once again, that was another one that was kind of just like a family. Like we always every day we were. Filming.
How long did that take to shoot? Like how many days were you on set for that?
I'm pretty sure we were on set, like at the studio for maybe like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then we were on location at the ghost hunter's house for maybe 2 weeks, and then
Was it outside of California?
that was just for me. No, all filmed in California.
Okay.
But that was just for me. Like I probably had like 30 minutes of screen time throughout the whole movie, and then it kind of just follows my sisters. So wherever, obviously, like if I'm not in it, I'm not there the day they're shooting. So did that. We were waiting for the movie or whatever to like come out. Go to the cast and crew screening. That shit scared the shit out of me. Like it was actually scary at the cast and crew screening. Then we find out that we're gonna have the premiere at the Chinese theater in Hollywood.
That's sick.
And me and my mom were just like, "Holy shit!
Yeah,
Fuck! Like that's
big time now.
like that's crazy. Like I don't know. That's where like a lot of like big time,
Mass, like
yeah,
the biggest
like,
movies of all time.
yeah. So like shit, that's like where a lot of shit goes down there. And my mom was like, "Well, fuck it. Like if we're gonna do it, let's fucking do it right." So I remember it was me and my 3 brothers and my dad and my mom, and we rented like an Escalade or something, and it picked us up from my house and
Hell yeah.
drove us from my house to the red carpet, and they weren't gonna let us in because the street was blocked off for the red carpet. And my driver goes, "No, like he's
in it.
like he's like he needs to be like on the red carpet now." So like they moved the gate and they let us drive through. And I remember I hopped out of the car, and everybody in my family stayed in the car, and they went somewhere else. And I hopped out of the car, met up with my manager, and I walked Chinese theater red carpet.
That's so sick.
It was a life-changing moment, man. That shit was super sick. It was just like seeing like all those like just flashing lights in front of you. Oh, Tate over here. Oh, Tate over here. Like you do the pictures, and then once the picture part's over, then you go and you start doing all these interviews with everybody, and they just ask you questions about the movie, and you got to make sure to not spill anything, or like you don't want to
Tom Holland it.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to Tom Holland it. So like kind of just like watching what you say and stuff, but like still trying to get a point across. And then I remember,
Did they give you like written scripts or like answers to that shit? Like especially as a kid, like kind of you don't really know necessarily. I'd say like what you can and can't say. I mean, probably have a general idea, but like they don't PR train you at all. So, like, hey, like stay away from saying that this happens in the movie and just kind of refer to like.
I never got PR trained by them, but I got PR trained by my manager.
Okay.
So like she kind of gave me like a rundown of like like what to say, what not to say. But I think also like when you do it, you kind of know like you don't want to give anything, like you don't want to spoil it.
That first time though, when you're on the red carpet and everyone's yelling your name, trying to take pictures, like what's that moment like? Is it kind of overwhelming, or were you kind of like embracing it at that point?
It's exuberating, bro. It's like. You ever heard that many people call your name and you're like, whoa, shit. Like, they're just, like, calling my name and, like, just, like, smiling. And, I don't know. Like, I probably thought I was looking fly because I was in, like, a suit or some shit. And just, like, it was kind of just, like a daydream almost, man. Like, it was just, like, so surreal. It was just, like, because I've been on red carpets before. And, like, I did red carpets for the Young Artist Awards. I'll talk about that in a second. But, like, this thing just topped it. Like, everything.
Yeah.
It was just an experience.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So let's talk about the young.
Oh yeah, so the Young Artist Awards.
Yeah.
So that's like it's basically like an award show for like child actors, and like it's a way to just get like maybe some satisfaction for the work that you've done or something like that. And kind of the same way that the Oscars or however you want to say that work, where you submit for like an award or something, and then you submit your part or your clip for that, and then it gets voted on by people who are in the committee, and then
Is it a child academy for the child awards?
no, it was an older. I remember we would drop it off at this older lady's house, and like she had like a bunch of people that were there that were like a part of like the committee. It was like older people who were a part of the committee.
Like washed up academy people?
Yeah, probably shit. I don't know. Because I believe now they changed it to the Young Entertainer Awards is what it's called now. But so yeah, it was the Young Artist Awards, and basically like I met like a bunch of people there. I met like the cast from Diary of a Wimpy Kid there.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, that shit was dope.
Like the OG one?
Yeah, the OG one. Yeah, like I met him in prom. I don't know his name, but the
guy who played Greg?
yeah, met Greg, met the Indian kid, I believe. And
Raji?
Yeah, and then I also met
Raleigh or something.
Is that the ginger?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I think
and
it was
him.
something like that.
Didn't he just
Yeah, so I was gonna say one of those actors just got arrested for like
murdering his mom?
yeah,
Oh shit!
Um,
kind of crazy.
News to me.
Yeah.
Robert Capron? No.
I have no idea.
Ryan Grantham.
That's
No.
the one who. That's the one who.
Yeah, sentenced to life in prison after pleaded guilty to killing his mother in March of 2020.
What character did he play?
So I don't see him on the cast list.
Huh. But speaking of like crazy actors, what season of Sons of Anarchy were you on?
Season 6, episode 1.
Oh, okay. Because did you hear about the actor? He was like part of the gang in like the first season, and then they wrote him off because he didn't want to be it anymore. He was Katy Perry's ex, and he was like kind of this psycho dude. And he
Russell
ended up-
Brand?
No, he like died. He I don't know. I watched a YouTube video about it. He like kind of went crazy. I think he had like some mental like health issues or just like
Oh shit!
something like that, and he kind of went off the rails and something happened to him. I don't really remember what.
No,
but-
I don't know about that, but when I was on set for Sons of Anarchy, I met pretty much all of like the guys, and like we had lunch together and stuff. Like Tate is super cool, so his real name's Kim Coates. He's a baller. He is so chill. Obviously, I was there with Jack, so I met Charlie a couple times, and
yeah,
we
he's
talked.
a great actor.
Yeah, he's when he breaks character, he's British. I don't know if you guys know that.
Yeah, and
He's-
the gentleman. I thought he was playing a British.
Oh yeah,
character,
that's
but
how he talks.
Yeah,
That's like how he actually like so like when the cameras roll, he goes American accent, and when they break, he goes back to his native tongue.
just super easy for him to.
Yeah,
kinda-
super easy, and I always thought that was trippy. I remember when
Yeah.
I first met him, I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "How do you do that?"
Yeah.
I was like, oh, "That's crazy." Met him, we talked, that was cool, and then Juice, if you guys know who Juice is, he's the guy with the lightning bolts on like the side of his head
Oh,
with like
yeah.
the mohawk. Met him, and then met Happy, and he was an actual Hell's Angel, like turned actor, so like that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I thought. And then the other one that I met was Tommy Flanagan. So he's the guy that plays Chibs. He's got pretty sure Charlie or Jax is the president and Chibs is the vice president.
Uh-huh.
But he's the guy who's got like scars all on his cheeks. And so we were eating lunch, and I asked him, I was like, are those scars like for the show, or are they like for real? And
Yeah.
he's like, no, like these things are for real. He's like, growing up in Ireland, like I was a part of a gang, and like I got fucking like stabbed in the cheeks by like
wow.
by like a rival gang, and I was like, holy
Were you scared of him after that?
no, I wasn't scared, but I was like, God, this guy's been through the trenches,
Yeah.
bro. God damn.
Who was the first actor or actress you were starstruck by?
I guess that I've met.
Yeah.
Probably.
You didn't have to maybe even work with them. Just maybe someone you've met.
Courtney Cox was pretty crazy. That
Yeah.
one was kind of wild because like that was just like Friends, and like that used to be like one of my mom's favorite shows, and
Like the most iconic sitcom of all time.
yeah, and like that was just wild, and like to be in her first ever film that she directed is like kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's like that was a cool one.
I guess too though, if you're growing up acting, I'm sure like you kind of get immune to that though, right?
Yeah, I'd say. Yeah. Trying to think what else. Like Sean William Scott was dope. He's
Yeah.
super chill, super nice. Worked with Dermot Mulrooney. He was in Insidious Chapter 3. Pretty sure he's from. I think he's in that movie called My Best Friend's Wedding. Probably like more a movie that your moms have seen. Let's see. Yeah, I think he is. Yeah. So he did like a lot of like rom-coms.
Oh, okay.
Him. I guess he's not really an actor, but just over this past summer, I did a Bose commercial with Joe Burrow, and I was basically the ad just said like, do you know how to play football? Like, do you have any tape? Whatever. Send in the tape. Got it. And it's for Bose, and basically the commercial is just all about Joe Burrow, like listening to Kid Cudi throwing the football, and it was me and two other guys who got hired to just run routes for Joe Burrow, and like we would break and we would go sit under and easy up and talk to Joe Burrow, like literally
Yeah,
like
How was that? Was
Right
he
after-
pretty
dude,
chill?
like it was wild. I literally told him, I was like, yo, bro, like bet on you in the AFC Championship, won me money.
Yeah.
They just
hell-
like chuckle.
Hell
like,
yeah.
thanks,
He
dude.
laughs. I'm like, you won me money. That's great. We go to the Super Bowl, bet on you again, lose. I was like, you lost me money. Like, come on.
How soon after the Super Bowl was this?
We just filmed this in July. So
Oh, okay,
wow.
so he's washed it off already.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
joke to him.
yeah, it's a joke for sure.
That's
So
hilarious.
Is that commercial out yet?
yeah, it's out.
Okay.
And
It'll probably be our ad on TikTok for one of these clips. Watch.
So we're just shooting the shit and like just passing, and I remember, bro, it was wild because they were like, yo, go on the field and go start stretching, right? Like, all right, like, whatever. So we're stretching, and I see this guy start walking up on the football field, like tossing a ball, and I'm like, damn, he looks like he's pretty good. I was like, he's in like some Bape shorts and like this like nice ass t-shirt, and he's got all these bracelets on his arms and shit. And I'm stretching down, so I'm not looking at his face. And I see on his right arm he's got 2 LSU bracelets, and I'm like,
Wait a minute. You gotta.
yeah. So I'm like, LSU, like I'm rolling through players in my head,
Yeah.
and then I look up and I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, it's Joe
It's
Burrow.
Fucking Joe Burrow.
He ends up coming up to me and the other 2 kids who were also playing receiver, and straight up just goes, hey, what's up? I'm Joe. Hey, I'm Joe. Hey, I'm Joe. And we were all just like, yeah, no shit. Like, like as if we don't know
Yeah,
who you
right.
are, man. Like, shit. And then the director is like, so Joe, like, how do you want to do this? And he's like, normally, like, I just want to start with like a warm up. So like, he just points at me. He's like, yo, like, can you just come with me real quick? And then me and Joe Burrow just 5 yards apart, just like I'm warming him up. And then he's like, yo, go this way, go this way. Finally get him loose. And then he's like, all right, run a dig, run a corner, go to that spot, and just did that shit for like 2 hours. And then we had lunch and sat under an easy up. And then I remember after we were done filming, we were like, so like, what are your plans, right? Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? And
Where was this at?
Torrance High School.
Oh shit.
Yeah. He left after we were done shooting to go hop on a PJ to go somewhere for like vacation or something. And then from there, I think he said July 27th or July 20 something was like, he's going to start getting ready for camp.
Yeah.
And then like, obviously now he's playing every Sunday. So,
Was that like right before he burst his appendix?
when did he burst? Do you know when he bursted his?
It was. I know he missed all preseason, so it's like I think. It was
Oh
early
yeah, it
August
was
or
before preseason for sure.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Because
crazy,
we
though.
filmed it in July, so I think we filmed it like July.
Damn, think of the
Early
bag
July.
he got for that. And
That's
he-
what we asked him.
something. You asked him how much he made.
So one of the kids that I was working with, Donovan.
Smart question. I can't.
Donovan goes, so like real talk. He's like, real talk. Like, how much you making from this? And Joe Burrow just like sitting in a plastic chair and just crosses his arms, sit back, and just goes, yeah, big bag, big bag. And like it was just like, it was cool, bro. Like he didn't seem like he wasn't like trying to like flaunt anything or like trying to like be somebody that like he's not. Like, bro, like for me, like he's 25 years old. It felt like I was just talking to my brother.
I was
Like it
gonna
just
say, he's like still a college kid.
yeah, like
essentially.
exactly. Like he's still a college kid. Like we get it. Like he kind of gets it. Like it was super like just super relatable. And like when people call him like Joe Chill, like, dude, you don't know that he's Joe Chill until like you meet him. He is the chillest, laid back, just like, yeah, sure,
Yeah.
we'll do it.
I was gonna ask about that because obviously last year he kind of had this big persona. Everybody kind of like fell in love with him because they had the Super Bowl run. There's the iconic picture with him smoking the cigar in the LSU locker room. All the
Fur
shades and
coats,
fit,
yeah.
all that stuff. Was he like how people kind of like build him up to be? Was that actually how he is?
Dude, yeah, I literally, dude, one of the nicest guys. Like, he's not even like from what I would think, like, if I saw Joe Burrow, I feel like he wouldn't even want to, like, deal the time of day with me or,
Right.
like, not even, like, try and talk to me. But, like, he was, like, actually adamant about, like, having a conversation with these 3 19, 20-year-olds and
That's
just,
pretty
like,
cool.
So you didn't even know he was in that commercial with you until you saw him on the field?
didn't know that we were going to be filming with him, but, like, knew that we were going to be filming with somebody, but, like, they
Yeah.
didn't tell you who.
Did they say like an NFL player, like anything?
Just, like, somebody of, like, importance, if I remember.
Like you knew it was for Bozo, yeah?
Yeah, knew it was for Bose. For
The
sure.
official headphone of the NFL or whatever. So it's like, they gotta have the face of the NFL. I assume it probably would have been like him, Mahomes, or like,
I know
Josh
before.
Allen.
I know before too. I think like the day before I was there, or whatever, they did a segment. Same thing with Bose. It was him, Jay Jettas, and Jamar Chase. They were all at
I was
Torrance
gonna
High
say-
School.
Yeah, they probably
Wow.
run like 3 different versions of the commercial.
Yeah.
So they can run it.
That's crazy.
That is pretty nuts.
Yeah. Just to kind of, I guess, start to wrap up here, my last couple questions for you. One, what would you say is your most memorable moment from acting? Is there one that stands out? Maybe Joe Burrow, red carpet.
Oh, before the Joe Burrow, did you get any signed merch or anything like that from Joe? Like, was he like,
Oh,
football or
dude, yeah,
anything?
so-
free pair of
so-
bows. Like,
No, yeah. So listen to this shit. So like we didn't know that Joe Burrow was coming. Find out that he's coming. We were like, fuck, we need to get a picture with him. Missed the opportunity to get a picture.
no way.
Missed the opportunity to get a picture with him. But there was a photographer on the set who was taking like photos of everything, and she's like, hey, like I think I've got some photos of like you guys like standing next to each other and stuff.
Oh, that's sick.
When I get them all like ready and all that, like I'll email them to you. So we're all in a group chat. We haven't heard anything yet, but one guy is in contact with one of the guys that I worked with is in contact with the photographer too.
I'd be sick.
Try-
of a picture
try
of
and get us that
yourself
Dropbox
catching a
link.
pass
Yeah, dude, that would
from
just be
Joe
sick.
Burrow. That'd be so dope.
Yeah. That'd
Like,
be
no, that
insane.
shit ain't Photoshop. That's legit. But like, no, like signed football or anything. Like free pair
Nah,
of bows. From
I
the commercial?
didn't even ask, honestly.
Damn.
Didn't even like. We actually we were able to take like I think they gave
The
us.
sweaty ass headphones that he was wearing during the
No,
commercial.
they offered some kids like football gloves. I think if they gave us the football gloves, we were able to take the football gloves home, or any of the wardrobe that we were wearing that day, we were able to take home. And then they had a table like full of the Joe Burrow glasses, like if you know what I'm talking. I don't know.
Yeah.
I call them Joe Burrow I don't see anybody else wear them but Joe
Yeah.
Burrow. So like they had like a table full of those glasses. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah. That's insane.
May have swooped a pair.
Good
Maybe
party
not.
glasses for
Yeah.
sure.
So is that probably like your most memorable moment from acting?
Honestly, I'd say my most memorable moment from acting would be there's 2 of them. One is from Insidious. This is like during the acting process. So one is from Insidious, and there's a scene where Specs and Tucker show up to the house because I invited them there to help my sister. And Tucker shows up eating a cupcake, and like he was taking these big bites of this cupcake. And the actor's name is Angus Sampson. He's so funny. And dude, we filmed that scene like 40 takes. Bro had to eat like, I'm not even kidding you. He had like 35 cupcakes.
Oh, jeez.
Like just seeing someone like put down the cupcakes, and he was just like, God, I don't know if I can eat any more goddamn fucking cupcakes. And like to me, like I just thought that shit was so funny. And then I'd say another memorable moment comes from All My Children, but not like during the filming process. This is more just memorable, like something that sticks with me. So there was a one of the characters who played my aunt. Her actual name is Jill Larson, and we still stay in contact today. And so for my birthday, she lives in New York, and she sent me a bunch of cookies from Tate's Bake Shop in like New Jersey. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's just a bake shop with my name. It just starts with my name. And this is like literally like this is like 2 years ago. Like we haven't worked in that long, and she remembered my birthday. Mind you, she's like 80, she's like 70, so she's old.
Oh, wow.
And like she still remembered that like about my birthday. She sends me the things. So for her birthday, I ended up, there's a place where I live called Jill's Cupcake Creations, and I ended up sending her cupcakes from this Jill's Cupcake Creation place. And like we're just like still in contact, and like she still asks like how I'm doing, and like
she's kind of like the second grandma almost.
Yeah, man, and like that goes a long way. And then I'll say one more memorable thing also from all my children would be, so like we would do like these fan events, like the cast, like we would go to like this hotel, and the like I mean like for like daytime TV, like soap operas, there's like a fan base, and like these girls and guys or women and men, like they go and they like love like hearing what we have to say. We do like these Q&As, and I remember two people that I just can just remember from top of my head that just like stuck with me. One, her name is Mary Murray. She lives in Boston. She's just a fan of the show. Dude, she sends me like, she still sends me merch. Like she sends me like stuff from like the like just like Boston Red Sox stuff, and like just like, or like she like texts my mom and says, hey, just checking in, like hoping Tate's all good. And like to me, like that goes along, like that's a fan of the show.
Yeah, that's
like
dedication.
like just checking in, and like even though it's not a show anymore, like still checking in. And then one of the other things was we were doing a Q&A, and this one guy who always came to the shows, his name was Larry, and he would bring a lobster with him, like a red lobster, not a real lobster, but like a stuffed animal red lobster. And dude, he said something, and I don't remember exactly what I said, but I said something about him and like the lobster like ending up going to do something stupid, and I remember everybody laughed, and it was just like, I don't know, it's just something that stuck with me that like I just remembered. But like I'd have to say those are like some memorable moments for me.
Yeah, right
That's
on.
pretty sick.
Yeah, and that's probably just stuff that, because you're done with acting now, right?
Yeah,
Or-
so pretty much, yeah, once I got into high school, I just started focusing on football and stuff, and when I kind of knew that like football was something that I wanted to do or like try and pursue in college, I kind of slowed down on the acting. And then obviously COVID hit, which was a bombshell and a half.
Right.
That shit sucked. Tore my meniscus, so like that kind of ruined me for football. I tore it going into my senior year, so I was like, fuck. And then my senior year was all COVID, so we only had 5 football games, and I was like, fuck, like one door closes, another door opens. Ended up going to community college. Now out here at BSU, enjoying life.
Oh yeah.
So do you think you're
Yeah.
gonna pick it back up again? Now that football is like,
Maybe like when I go back home for like winters and summers, like I'll try and like apply for jobs, maybe to like try and get a check here or there, you
Yeah,
know, like
sure.
try and do
was the
that.
money all right as a kid actor?
Yeah, it was all right. It definitely worked out. I'll say like it allowed me to go to college.
So
like,
I've
for
seen like
that is
interviews
awesome.
with what is it, Josh Peck. He gets like no residuals from that Drake and Josh show. And that's like
maybe that wasn't in their like. So I still get residuals. I still get residuals from Sons of Anarchy. I still get residuals from Insidious.
That's
I
so
still get residuals from, like if like a commercial that I've done or something does like a rerun, like
that's
I'll
pretty
get
cool.
but like residuals are like super hit and miss. It's
Yeah.
also really weird. Like I've gotten a check for like one cent. Like
Really?
it costed them more money
To send the
to
check.
send the check than what I was getting on the check. So like, or you could get a residual check for like $250.
Yeah.
That's
And
pretty
like,
sick.
yeah. And like, you never know when they're going to come in. Like, they just like come in and like, it's like, oh, you got a check here.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
For sure.
That's-
I see real quick before Danger wraps that you were a challenge participant in the Kids Choice Sports Awards.
Oh,
Is
dude.
that legit or no?
No, that is legit. I've actually been to the Kids Choice Sports Awards twice. So first time I went, I was just one of the kids in like the pit that was just there and got to meet Russell Wilson and shit that because he was the
like
host.
slimed and shit.
So it didn't get slimed the first time. Ended up doing this. Got called back, whatever, to do it the second time. The challenge that you're talking about, it was a 3-point shootout with big basketballs into a hoop between Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. And I was under Steph Curry's hoop. And every time he made the basket, they slimed us. So like I got slimed by Steph Curry. So I
That's
have
so
that to my
sick.
name.
That's pretty
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
Wait, if you were called to do that show, Was that show like all those people in the audience? Like they didn't get tickets. It's all filled, like,
No. So everybody who's in the audience are real people
Yeah.
who are like
Like,
not
you buy a ticket.
who are not actors. Yeah, there are people who are not actors that are there. You go watch that, and then like when they do those little like event things or something like that, we come from behind the stage. So yeah, so like we're
So they're not picking kids out of the crowd.
No.
Damn, they make it seem like that. They do a good job. They fooled me.
They got you. That's the magic of movie making or TV making.
They probably it's probably a liability to do that to someone random.
Yeah, probably. I guess.
So I was wondering, like, damn, those kids have to go home slime now. That sucks. Like,
No, we actually once it was over, then we got to go shower and shit. They have like showers and stuff in the back, so I got to shower.
That's good. You're not in your nice car. Your mom driving you home. You're just soaked in slime.
Yeah,
but
no
it was
black
cool though.
Escalade there.
It was cool though. Like I met Steph Curry and I met Klay Thompson and talked, and that shit was cool. And I think that following year, Russell Wilson was still the host, and I believe Derek Jeter got like Athlete of the Year, which was like the gold award. That was pretty sick. He got like gold slimed.
You get to meet Derek Jeter?
Didn't meet him, but like saw him.
Saw him
like,
from afar?
we were like in like the same area.
Yeah, this list of the 2016 show has some pretty massive athletes on it. Von Miller, Tony Hawk, Gronk, Jagger Eaton.
Yeah, I remember that. I think he rode in on a
Why are you
skateboard,
number
actually.
one? Oh, alphabetically, it's your last name. That's why. I was gonna say, you're literally number one on the cast list for the 2016 show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's because I have it alphabetically.
It's by star power.
Yeah, for sure. He's above Russell Wilson and
Yeah, definitely.
Stephen Curry for sure.
Yeah. Well, right on, man. That's an insane childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I wouldn't change any second of it, man. If I could go back and do it all again, I would do it the exact same way.
Yeah, and I'll definitely say, like, especially like your mom, she did it right. She wasn't one of
shout
those
out
just
to Mom.
forcing you and everything. Where
No, yeah, she really wanted to make sure that it was like we were fully about it. Because like, dude, I mean, if your parents are about it over you, like your parents aren't the ones getting paid.
Right.
Like you're the one getting paid. Like they're not gonna.
So even when you were like real little, like I'm sure like it went to your parents' like account, right? But it was really.
So like there's like a thing called like a Coogan account, and
okay.
like you can't touch it until you're 18.
Oh, okay.
So a certain amount of
Damn,
money.
so you just touched that then.
No, I mean, yeah, but I don't touch it.
Yeah.
I specifically told my mom I don't want access to it. Like I don't even.
You know, like the numbers in it though. Like you have like a balance sheet at least.
Yeah, I've seen what's in there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all
You're
right.
like, I have no idea.
No, yeah, I've seen what's in there. It's
Bunch of penny checks.
but like, yeah, so like there's this thing called the Coogan account, and they put your money in there, and then it's like a certain amount. But that was made in place because I remember so many years ago, however many years ago, there was like parents who were stealing.
Oh hell yeah!
Their kids' money.
Well, that show was
like,
regulated.
So then, like when the kid got to that certain age, like
There was no money in that.
yeah, they're like, "Where's my money?" And it's not there.
Yeah, that's
So.
crazy. Because that's the reason I brought that up, because you hear so much about all these, like, especially like the big time child stars, right? Like, it's the kid from like Home Alone.
Oh, Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, like he went through like so much shit for being a child actor, and so your mom definitely, you guys did it right for sure.
Yeah, and maybe I don't know. Maybe while he was at school, like he might have got bullied, or people might have thought it was weird back in the day. But like, I will say, I never got bullied for it. I never got anything bad said about me about it. Everybody, all my schoolmates, all my friends, they were very supportive. So to them, I mean, that's awesome. Because I feel like if they weren't supportive and maybe they were making fun of me, then maybe that would have changed it.
It could have been tough.
Yeah, maybe that would have changed my mind, and maybe I would have been like, you know what, Mom, maybe I want to stop this now instead of stopping it later down the road.
Yeah, very true. I think that's a great way to wrap.
Where can people find you if you want to give yourself a little shout out?
Oh yeah, man. So you can find my actor Instagram, Tate H Berney, or official Tate H Berney, and then my Twitter is just Tate Berney, and yeah, that's me.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Appreciate you. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks so much. This was a lot of fun to talk about. Make sure to like and subscribe, and
Share this podcast. Follow us on Instagram at You Never Know Podcast.
Never know what it is.
You never
Exactly, you never know.
know. Until next time.